So I think business models are rapidly changing, and the environment that we all work in is rapidly changing. And so the business models that you need in order to be successful need to be adaptable.
Some industries much more affected than others. Massive difference between the oil companies and the banks, for example, but both very much affected by all the issues around sustainability and ESG. So I think within then an industry, each individual company has a different starting point. They're playing catch up or they're leading the industry accordingly, and so again, the rate of change, the amount of change is very specific to the situation.
I think business models are changing all the time, but particularly there's much more focus on, I think, businesses being more structured and focused in individual technology areas, for example. And I think it's very important that that gives a significant focus to those business areas.
I think that to implement a strategy, it's not something that the company or the organisation could do on its own. I'm just reminded of partnerships with suppliers, partnerships with even academic institutions, or partnerships with scientists and technologists, because it seems to me that it's the most exciting time to be a scientist, for example, in terms of, or a technologist, in terms of applying that knowledge to developing new and game-changing innovations.
And in order to be adaptable, the kind of leadership I think that we need is quite different from maybe the past. I think it's less around top-down leadership, because I think at the top you see certain perspectives, but you're not plugged into everything. I think you need to enable teams through the organisation to come together around kind of outcomes that the business is trying to solve. So I think you said the strategic direction, but it's no longer about top-down leadership. It's around how do you drive leadership at multiple levels of the organisation.
I think in terms of the leadership skills required, I wouldn't say that there are new skills required, but I do think that the fundamentals of good leadership are even more important in the environment as it is today. And I say that because the environment is so complex. There are so many challenges coming at firms. We're about to go into a recession as well, where they'll be challenged economically as well as with all of the challenges in terms of customer centricity or climate and the changes that brings, or changes coming from people's everyday expectations, their employees wanting to work in hybrid environments, etc., etc. So I think of leadership, they're challenged around being extremely clear in terms of the objectives that they're asking people to shoot for and the outcomes that they want to create.
I think we're becoming very much more focused on leadership as an enabler for the people that we work with, and building capability through allowing people to solve problems, solve complex problems, and giving them a structure and an environment that allows them to do that. So I think gone are the days where someone comes to a leader with a problem and looks for them to solve it.
And I think ultimately leaders, there's a massive impact that they can have in establishing and role modelling the mindsets necessary to fully engage with change. So that ability to reframe a situation such that people have a belief that it's possible, and rather than thinking about the how, they think about the outcome back and then start to think, okay, what do we need to do to create that outcome? That's a very different perspective, for example, than where are we today? Where can we get to over the next 3 years? That leads you to a very different sort of outcome. So leadership traits like that, I think, are all fundamental in today's environment.